Welcome, I'm Erica, a certified yoga instructor in San Francisco, California. I focus on restorative yoga and yin yoga. This session is a restorative yoga session with one simple back bend pose. This is a great pose if you, like me, are bent over a phone or a computer keyboard and find yourself rounding your back, both your upper back and your lower back. So this is a pose to gently open up the front body and sort of reverse or balance out the bending over computer screens that we often do. So the props that you will need today include at least one blanket and at least one bolster and an eye pillow. Got my eye pillow right here. And I recommend having several additional blankets just in case. So I like to place a blanket over my yoga mat for a little extra cushioning. If you have a long torso, you may need to stack additional blankets on top of your bolster. And if you want to stay warm in this pose, you may want to place a blanket over your body. If you don't have an eye pillow, you can also use just a washcloth or something to cover your eyes and create some darkness, and that will really help you find some rest in this pose. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you don't have a bolster, using any sort of firm cushion that is long, so it extends the length of your yoga mat, is firmer, but is also fairly narrow. So this is going to be behind your back. So you want this to be narrow enough to fit your back and not much more your upper back. And I'll show you in just a moment. This pose, I should mention, is if you are currently experiencing lower back pain, I don't recommend this pose. If you have a diagnosed spinal disc issue, also do not recommend this pose. Or if you are a woman who is more than 3 months pregnant or menstruating, this is not the best pose for you either. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So you're just going to set your hip next to your bolster. And if you're having some back pain, then you're going to want to get into the pose very, very gently. And sorry, not back pain, but just sort of back tightness, or are not used to back bends or restorative poses. You'll want to come into the pose very gently. So you'll want to roll onto the mat first, and then make your way onto your back gently. Now, if you don't have any issues with your back right now and just want to find an opener, propping your elbows on your bolster, engage your core, and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, find your way onto your back. Okay, so let's get our props positioned. So you want your bolster behind your upper back and extending to your rib cage. It should not be on your lower back. So you can see my lower back is sort of dropping down over the bolster. The blanket by your head is rolled over so that it supports your cervical spine or your neck. So you can see I have a pretty long neck, so I needed to roll it a couple of times. And we're not trying to lift the neck up, we're just trying to fill the space in the natural curve of the neck. So we don't want the neck dangling, the head dangling off the bolster. So we want this to just support it without sort of pushing it or pressing it up. Just a relaxing space so that your neck can gently open up. And then armpits should be above the bolster and below the neck blanket. So you can see my arms and my shoulders fit in there nicely. And you may want to open your arms up, palms up or down, whatever feels most comfortable for you. I recommend palms up. Now let's focus on the feet. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. Highly recommend walking your feet out the width of your mat and then knocking your knees together. That's going to take the pressure off the lower back. So you've been in this, hopefully you've found a shape. You've been in here for a little bit, and just take us a moment. We'll take about 30 seconds to kind of feel your body out and see if you need to make any additional adjustments. So maybe the bolster is too high and you just want to place a folded blanket. That's perfectly fine. You could stack a couple of blankets. Maybe it's not high enough. You're not opening up enough. You can stack your blankets even more. And just finding the shape that's best for you. If there's discomfort in the lower back, you can place a blanket under the lower back, just below the bolster. So we are going to aim to be in this pose, and I recommend for about 5 minutes. Once you found your comfort zone, you will place your eye pillow over your eyes. Now, 5 minutes may be too much if you have not done a lot of chest opening back bends. So maybe 1 minute works for you. Or if you do a lot of back bending, you may need something a little bit longer. So you may go beyond the 5 minutes. Okay, so dropping into our pose. Take a long inhale, filling the belly, chest, all the way up to the collarbones, and then a full, extended, long exhale. Again, full inhale and exhale. Breathe slowly and evenly. Feel held by the props. You're held by the ground below you, by your yoga mat. With each inhalation, your front body opens, your chest, your rib cage opening, your heart center opening. And with each exhalation, your belly softens and your mind quiets. Inhale, opening. Exhale, softening, releasing. Finding the places in the body that are still holding on and letting go. Is the jaw relaxed? The belly is soft. Hands are loose. As you gradually relax, allow your back to sink into the props. Your whole body subtly, gently releasing and surrendering to gravity. Imagine you are lying in a beautiful and safe place. Open to this place and receive the beauty and wholeness of this moment. When your mind begins to wander, bringing your mind back to your breath, back to the softening of the body being held by your props, by the ground. starting to bring your mind back to the body, wiggling fingers and toes. And when you're ready, placing one hand under the neck and gently rolling the whole body, using the feet to press the whole body over to your side into a fetal position. And just rest there, eyes closed, eye pillow freely drops to the ground. Take a couple of deep breaths there, no rush. Whenever you're ready, coming up to a seated. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. See you next time.